So it's 2023. We've started the year on a bit of a downer. There's been news of like tech layoffs everywhere, although there is some information that most people aren't sharing. I'll get to that in a second. The economy is not that great. Budgets are tightening. Customers, they're generally not spending. So how can we turn this around and make 2023 the year of growth? Well, first things first about these tech layoffs, right? What's interesting is there's all this news, doom and gloom, because, bad news sells, right? That, Google's laying off 10,000 people, all of these local startups in Australia, like Linktree and Canva and Xero and all these darlings, they're like mass layoffs. What most of the media is not telling you is that, yes, absolutely, there are a large number of layoffs, but when compared to the hiring in 2021 and 2022, they are tiny. So check out my LinkedIn to see there's a graph about that. But back to the point, like what can we do in light of this super competitive market, right? And so, customers, they're overwhelmed with choice. There are more competitors than ever before, right? So how can you be the one that they choose, right? Well, there's a key to that, and it's called being unforgettable. And that seems like it's simple, but like, Andrew, how can I be unforgettable? Like you just said, there's cheaper budgets, there's tightening of belts, there's more choice than ever before. Like what can I do to be unforgettable? Well, it comes down to market fit, right? And in talking with lots of business owners and CEOs and founders or product managers and heads of marketing and CMOs, most people I've found they conflate product fit and market fit as like just one and the same and that there's nothing else. And certainly product fit is a key requirement, right? Your product needs to meet a need in the market, right? What I've also found is most people don't have a consistent and repeatable way to measure product fit. So we'll get into that at a later stage. It's a bit more than that Mark Andreessen quote of, you just know, it's the vibe. However, that's what most people rely on, right? I pick up the phone and money falls out. That'd be nice. But in terms of what constitutes market fit, it's three things. Definitely, obviously, product fit, right? Your product needs to fill a gap in the market. But on top of that, you need two other things. One of them is brand experience, right? Your brand needs to speak to your market, and the experience needs to be consistent all the way through that journey, right? Whether it is your website or your social media advertising, whether it is your customer success experience, your onboarding emails, like every touch point, like the look and feel, the tone of voice, right? That's brand experience. But the key thing that almost no one talks about, and that's why Deep Star Strategic really exists, right? Is the third and final piece of what constitutes market fit and what we truly believe is the game changer, that if you invest in this area, you'll get, you spend $1 here, you'll get $5 back, versus spending $1 in product fit, you might get $2 back. And what is that? It's message market fit. Now, what is that? That is how we communicate. That's how we go and segment. That's the story that we tell, right? And this goes back to that comment at the beginning of how do we win? Well, we win by being unforgettable. That's how we dominate. And so there are three key criteria, right? It's being clear, it's resonating, and it's being distinct. Too much of companies' messaging, especially in B2B, like I think we can all agree, B2B messaging, B2B marketing is bland, it's boring, it's the same. Like we've got a name for it. It's called the SaaS fatigue, right? The sea of sameness, right? Like everything looks and sounds the same. We use the same illustrations, we use the same colors, got the same animations. I'm bored just talking about it. But what we can do is be distinct in the way in which we convey our message. We can resonate by making sure that we actually understand our customer. We talk to them, right? And we can be clear with the language that we use, right? And there's lots of ways in which we can do this, like understanding their jobs to be done, right? Using narrative to tell stories, right? We all remember the story of the Good Samaritan, and yet How many people could explain Pythagoras' theorem to me, like just like that? Sure, some of you can sit in the corner, but the rest of us, I kind of understand what it means, and I remember from, primary school math, but how do I use it? But I know the Good Samaritan story because it was told in a narrative, right? And so that's what we're talking about. And that's what Deep Star Strategic really focuses on, right? We help customers go and achieve message market fit so that that has a multiplier effect to everything else that they do. So if you're going to spend $1, I bet, because I'm like this, I'd rather get 5 back than 2. So if that's you, stick around, and they're the things that we'll be talking about. Right? That's why we're here. So let's make 2023 the year that you dominate and really own your space. Cheers.